That's it. I'm out.
Yep.
So we're paying a stuffed sock to give advice on our relationship?
We're paying? For the last few months, it's been me paying for everything.
Well, this is certainly a wise financial decision on your part.
Look, it's probably just part of some process.
It has a hand up its ass.
You have your head up yours!
Oh, that's good. I think you should write that down. You don't say. Well, that's it. I think we're cured. I'm so glad I can entertain you, Lily. For my next performance. Hello, Lily. I'm your lawyer, Mr. Nitsbottom. Please come see me after this session so we can discuss who gets custody of the kittens, Pickles and Olive.
Please excuse him, Doctor. He means no disrespect.
Don't apologize for me. Oh. She thinks she's the mature one in this relationship because she gets a paycheck.
Oh, come
but
on.
She's impulsive like a child. She books a therapy session with the goddamn puppet. No offense, Doctor.
I only look impulsive next to your laziness. Look, he's a creative, okay? And I love that about him. I do. But every time I try and make a constructive criticism, it's like Lily's being a bitch again.
You heard the head up the ass comment? That's my life. 24/7. I told him to write that down.
The doctor's right. We've hit a wall.
I'm the impulsive one. And my first thought was to call the whole thing off. Well, you're at least trying to get help for us. From a sock with a PhD, mind you.
I'm just so wrapped up in giving you advice that I neglect to tell you how much I appreciate all the work that you do. And I really do appreciate it.
Look at his hilarious little socky face. No offense, Doc.
See, this is good. We really needed this. Let's go make sassy time.
With pizza? No pineapples.
Oh,
I love you.
I love you.
Ooh. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, I'm gonna recommend you to all my friends.
La 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 la
I see a lot of people get like super into the club scene, super into drinking and cocaine and harder drugs. I know that's not me. I have my own ways to have fun. My name is Chris Evans and I live the straight edge lifestyle. To me, straight edge means you just don't drink, you don't smoke, and you're kind of just respectful of other people. Straight edge is very much a reaction to other people's bad behavior. It's not a straight edge barbershop per se. I mean, there's people who work at the shop who are straight edge. We're down with that. We get it. We're part of it. I was in the woods drinking and smoking and trying to buy weed. I remember a kid gave me a tape, had a bunch of hardcore on it. It was a band called Minor Threat, and there was a song called Straight Edge. And their delivery was just like getting punched in the head. It just woke me up and really tuned me into what they were saying. I have a tattoo of 3 X's. I have that on my leg. I recently got it done by a great friend of mine, Dave Monroe.
My name is Dave Monroe, and I've been straight edge for 26 years. But what was happening is when you're a minor and you were attending a show to guarantee that you weren't going to get any beverages from behind the bar, they would mark your hand with a giant black X. It just sort of evolved from the giant black X being you're underage to, you know, someone who was actually sort of resisting the urge for alcohol at a show. I started drinking at a very young age, started drinking when I was 8. I didn't draw a sober breath by the time I was 11. I had a lot of depression issues and a lot of anger issues. I reached a point by 15 that my whole body was collapsing. And luckily I had skateboarding and music. And between those things, music led me to straight edge.
To me, straight edge means you're part of a bigger scene than you. You're sort of, it's not necessarily a set of rules that you're going to have to live by because other people are under pressure. It's a way of saying I identify with these beliefs and I want something to bond me to other people.
Straight edge is not for me because unfortunately I do like a little bit of alcohol. Like I like my beers, my martinis. I definitely think out of all of Canada, St. John's is probably a little bit harder to live a straight edge life just because of our culture of, you know, going out and having like a beer with the boys.
Pub culture, there's a lot of drinking, and people smoke.
It's hard sometimes because I got a lot of friends who are still into the drugs and everything, and I don't want to lose all my friends.
Some people go out and get smashed and then forget part of their night, and here I'm like, why would you do that to yourself?
I do believe with the concepts of having a lifestyle without those substances and such, but for me it's also a necessity for my health.
It's not uncool not to drink, you know? Do your thing.
When I wasn't drinking, people were very off-put, you know, and I wasn't giving them the story, well, I'm driving, you know, I didn't take it, but people would buy me drinks and I'd have to politely refuse, and some people took a lot of offense to it.
People all the time want to give me a beer, want to buy me a beer. In the early days, it was a little bit of a struggle to not go out and get wasted and really party hard and kind of be that person who's just ruined for 2 days, because I used to be that.
Music led me to straight edge and shows, and led me to a community that helped me sort of get my feet back on the ground. I see it as very personal. It's, you know, it's a part of me. It's a part of how I handle things. It doesn't necessarily define me, but you know, it's definitely one of the reasons that I've managed to stay alive.
If that's who you want to be, own it. Put that X on your hand. Be it. Get up on stage, sing a song about it, express how good it is, tell people what it's meant for your life. But if it's not for somebody else, that's fine. It's about inclusion. It's punk rock. It's not a religion. If you're different, fine. You be different. You do you, I'll do me. But let's just respect each other.
I never want
Hey.
Hey, you. Awesome. Thank you. So how are you doing? What's the scoop at the coffee shop?
It's not the same without you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm getting lots of shifts. There's nothing else to do.
I still think you should go to Europe.
Yeah, maybe. Ooh. You're getting better. How long you been at this one?
About an hour. It's a butterfly I saw in my dream last night.
Marcy, this is awesome. Are you still thinking about school?
It's all I think about. Hopefully I get out of here in time.
Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. Last week, Johnny came in 45 minutes late, and he said the most random thing. He said, I never said...
Whoa. The Halloween store called and they want their outfit back.
Funny. Yeah, I'm going for a jog after this.
What? Mr. opted out of gym class in grade 3.
Hey, people can change. How you doing?
Okay. They changed my meds, so they said I might feel a little nauseous, but it's supposed to help the cough.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I got you these.
Wow. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Ooh. I gotta go.
So soon?
Yeah, I'm meeting up with this guy, Jim. I'm going jogging with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have fun. Don't trip up. Same time next week?
Same time next week.
What happened to jogging?
I breakdance now. Hey. Clown workshop. Shit. I forgot your gift.
It's fine, Greg. I missed you last week.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Sometimes it's hard to get away.
Too hard to call.
Well, it's not like you're going anywhere.
Maybe you should.
What?
I don't want to hang out if it's such a chore for you to be here.
Don't be dramatic.
I'm not. Go dance or jog or whatever the hell it is you're doing now.
I have to make new friends, Marcy. Don't take it out on me just because you're stuck in here.
Is the picture that bad? I was just signing my release forms.
Oh, yeah. Marcy, last week, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it, dummy.
I thought... I'm so glad you're okay.
Enough of this mushy stuff. My mom's picking me up. Why don't you come over?
That'd be great. Almost forgot your gift.
My name's Samir. I'm a Aboriginal carver, or Inuit carver. I started carving when I was 18 years old. How I started getting into it was there was an older guy, probably about 60-something years old. He was into stone carvings, and I was kind of interested in it. And he taught me a few lessons in carving. So that's how I started picking up. That's how I picked up carving. I carved with serpentine and soapstone. Then I made just in the chook and ulu on top of it. I made these because the ulu is for the women, the Inuit women who have a little bit more control over the men now, and it just makes me feel good because I used to see a lot of abuse in my past, but I see a lot of change in everybody today from my past.
My name is Ross Flowers from up to Labrador, with carvers and fishes. I was 11 years old when I first started carving. I make carvings out of wood, stone, and whale's bone and caribou antler.
I'm Sarah Jensen. I saw crafts. I started at the age of 9. My mum taught me how to sew, just fooling around with making dollies' clothes and that sort of stuff. And then at the age of 9, my grandmother taught me how to do the beadwork, and then started sewing slippers, mitts, anything. The younger generation is not too keen on it. We have one or two that's interested, but they're sort of few. As the age group that our sewing circle is about, I'd say, from early 20s onwards. We rarely get anybody under 18.
There's a whole lot of young ones into carving, mostly Middle-aged people, as far as I know, and older. It'd be good for some of the younger ones to get into it. Some of the traditions are passed along, I guess, because they do it up in school up there now. I think they got a life skills program up in school up here and passed along that way, I think.
Arts and crafts is a way of passing on your culture, passing on your tradition. It's an industry that's only now starting to get known in the Labrador region. whereas none of those places are way ahead of us in their exposure to their arts and crafts.
I usually like orders, and I use like 4 or 5 or 7 or 8 and do them all one time, let them there for 3 days, then I work at that for a couple of days, joining them together and making the handles and that.
And Nunatsewa is just starting to get their artists known out in the wider world.
There's a lot of people comes over to me and wonder what I'm doing, and they get really amazed of the work that I do, because I do fine work, and I know there's a lot of people proud of me here. I love carving. It's my life, and it's all I have, and I don't have no income from the government or from social services or anybody. This is my only income, and it's all I do. It's just my life.
What the hell was that?
Did you get it?
Of course I didn't get it. Not with your little stunt. What's wrong with you?
I was creating a diversion.
You're kidding, right?
I figured if I provoked her, which was actually really easy.
So, you start a food fight in the middle of a wave.
It wasn't a food fight. Yes, I started with a glass of wine. But to be perfectly honest, I was surprised. Where did this flour even come from?
All kitchens have flour.
Not mine. Gross.
What's the plan now?
You were supposed to grab the brooch.
It was impossible to get it with your diversion.
But at least I got Jennifer pretty good. She was covered from head to toe. She's our worst cousin.
I have to admit, it was pretty satisfying. How are we gonna get Grandma's brooch? What?
It's just, I've been thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, having flour thrown in your face at your grandmother's wake can make things pretty clear.
Okay.
Like, maybe Jennifer was right. We shouldn't be fighting over Grandma's brooch. Maybe it's the right thing for it to be buried with her. Anyways, there's too much heat on us to make a move right now.
Too much heat? We're not robbing a bank, you said.
I sound cool.
You should go apologize.
Yeah. Did you see where Jennifer went?
No clue.
Whatever. Gretchen!
I thought you had taken it. The brooch and stashed it in here. I don't know why. I was sure. I thought it was Grandma, a message from beyond, or just my gut instinct. I must be losing it. I'm sorry. Of course it isn't in here. I know you would never have taken it.
I forgive you. It's all good.
You were right. The brooch should be buried with Grandma. It's making us crazy and it's not worth it.
You're right.
Bonavista is on the tip of the Bonavista Peninsula. Provincially, it's Newfoundland's smallest urban municipality. This building was designed and constructed in the early 1940s, so it's an Art Deco building. And it was always the core, the heart of the community.
The Garrick opened in '45, and before that, actually, John Bradley used to show the films in a little parish center just down the road from here. So he felt it was viable. If he built a theater, it would be, he could make money at this. So with the help of his dad, Gordon Bradley, he built the theater and would open in 1945 on Christmas Day to a double bill. At that time, everybody was segregated, like there was Roman Catholic schools, Anglican, United, but they were their own crowd. So when they came to theater, everyone mixed together. My mom and dad used to come here as young people when they were going out together. And then I came after that and saw matinees for 25 cents. I think that back in the 90s, people didn't come as often, so they decided to close it for good.
It kind of represented a death to a certain service in the town, and kind of a section of the main street just went dark. I've seen over the past 10, 15 years that really turn around, and the theater's been a big part of it.
Gives the people of the area a sense of pride that the theater is restored and it is in use, and we do attract many artists from around the area, both local and in other areas from the province and even outside the province at times, right? Young people and old people as well can actually perform here in front of their peers, in front of their family, in front of tourists, and that probably is the most important aspect for the Garrick.
The fact that the Garrick is able to bring in a certain caliber of performance, like Hey Rosetta performed Christmas shows in Corner Brook and St. John's and Bonavista, and the same goes for the Once, and if opera comes in, and I love opera, it goes to St. John's and Bonavista. I don't think anyone would have thought 5 or 10 years ago that you would be able to have that caliber of show in small town Newfoundland.
There's too many to count. I mean, Craig Young, Anna's Sisters, The Secrets, Ron Hines. He was here in August and performed in the annex in our Wednesdays on church just before he really got sick, right? So that was good. We have awesome sound for live performances. One of the techs that come in with the bigger shows told me that we have one of the best sounds in Newfoundland for theater.
Feeling so blue.
There are a lot of exciting plans for the theater. One is a boutique cinema service. They're going to start rolling that out this summer. So on occasion, the annex, the Martini Bar, is going to have tables moved out, leather chairs put in with bar service, and there'll be like a 35 or 40 person theater for independent films and classic film showings.
In the 4 years, actually almost 5 years that I've been here now, I can see a big difference in the numbers. And this year, probably with the Canadian dollar, we're so low, hopefully we'll get more American tourists as well.
The Garrick reopening has done a lot for the area. To me, a lot of people just come here to come to the Garrick. You know what I mean? It's not only the scenery or Bonavista because it's Bonavista, but the Garrick has played a big role in tourism here. We've seen hundreds and hundreds, and they keep coming back and bringing friends and family with them, so that's a real good thing.
It's great living up here because you get a lot more freedom than you would in cities. You can go on bikes or you can go in the woods hunting or go to the cabin. My favorite kind of hunting is moose hunting. I'm 14 now, and the first time I probably went hunting was when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Everybody in Sandy Cove gets a sense of bond, and you're so close with your family, it just feels like home.
One of the greatest things up here is with the air, like you can smell the salt water, you're right to it. A lot of people take stuff for granted, they don't realize what you got. Like an iceberg, we see an iceberg, no big deal.
I like living here because it's a pretty quiet place. You haven't got to worry about locking your car or your door even, you know.
So I moved from Fort McMurray, and the thing that I've gained is a lot of trust in other people. There's a lot more things you got to worry about back there, like if you were to go outside or something like that, you have to worry that someone might like take you or something like that. Back here, everyone knows each other, so there's no worry about that.
You know, they watch out for each other. Especially me, you know, I got animals running all over the place, you know, they don't seem to say much about it, so. We even got calls 4 o'clock in the morning, and they said, oh, your horses is over by this person's house, or 4 o'clock in the morning, I had to go get up and go bring them back.
My ancestors, they were the first people here. Fishery, that's all they had to do. This used to be all fish flakes, all down along here. Wharves and boats.
But recent years, our cod fishery has been dying. Everybody has been moving away because they see more than fish in their future.
Some stuff that's difficult about living on the Northern Peninsula is you can get like your basic fruits and vegetables. You can get like oranges and apples, and that's really it. You can get most of the vegetables though.
Well, Flowers Cove doesn't have half as good as healthcare as St. John's because we always gotta go in there.
There's not a lot of like stores or like things to do like inside. It's more like, you know, go on bike or, you know, whatever like that.
3 years ago, I bought the Flowers Island in Flowers Cove there, and I'm going to turn it into some kind of tourist attraction. The Flowers Island is a unique island because it's the only lighthouse the actual lighthouse keeper stayed in. I don't know if you can see up there is what they call Yankee Point. That's the closest point to Labrador, 9 miles across there.
The Labrador current comes down and it's so cold that it just freezing here all the time.
I figure my summers, I always figure six weeks, from the middle of July to the last of August.
I work at GMP Crafts. I've been sewing for 27 years. I love working with sealskin. They've always wore sealskin. My husband still wears sealskin boots to this day.
My great pop hunted seals, and so did my pop, and then my dad does now. We've been hunting them for over 5,000 years. People who come here and see all this, some of them are so easy to judge us, saying that, oh, it's a sin, but they don't know what it's like having to live like it. Like, if we didn't have some of the clothing and stuff, like, we'd freeze. It's so cold up here. There are about 8 million seals up in the North Atlantic, and a lot of those seals pass by the strait. It's a really important local resource for us. It's just a lifestyle. It's part of who we are, is what we do.
This is St. Barnabas' church, and it was built in 1919. And Ken and Richard wanted to build a church, so we got the locals to make them sealskin boots.
Our bark-tan boots, they wore them the same as you wear rubbers because they were waterproof. Back in grandfather's days, like they wore boots. Like my mom, my grandmother, my great-grandmother did sealskin boots. It's been for years. My grandmother did boots for Skin Boot Church, and my mother-in-law did boots for Skin Boot Church. They are a source of pride. Everybody that wears them, you're proud to wear them because it states where you're from, and it shows that people in this area like their talents, right?
If I could change anything, it probably, I don't know what it would be actually. I just like it the way it is.
You go in the city, I guess you're kind of lost in the crowd. Nobody knows you're there.
You'll hear people say, oh, I can't wait to leave here. As soon as they leave, they go somewhere, oh, I love it here, I love it there. But give them 3 or 4 years, they all want to come back. You know, it's just something, like I said, I don't know. You almost got to be here to figure out what it is, I guess.
God, or whatever deity you pray to, I guess, or the universe or whatever. I mean, it's none of my business, really, but what are your religious beliefs?
Sam, I thought you were going to the library.
Yeah, I don't really trust myself at the library.
What do you mean?
I was just there for 3 hours and I read 15 pages of an academic article on the cultural significance of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's actually really interesting.
I won the use of this room tonight fair and square. Our exam is in less than 12 hours.
I need your help, okay? You're like a wizard at this stuff. And I have the attention span of a goldfish. Oh! I got snacks!
I'll help you. But only because it'd be nice to have someone else quiz me with the flashcards.
You have flashcards? I can't do this.
You have to be retaining something.
No. I'm just going to try and absorb all this information by osmosis and hope that that works.
Here, you can do this. Oh! Are you okay?
No.
Does it hurt?
I think it's broken.
You did not break your foot.
Well, I guess technically you broke my foot.
Oh, how do you know it's broken?
Hurts like hell and I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And I should probably go to the hospital. So could you call a cab? Sun's coming out. It's a beautiful morning.
We have an exam in less than 2 hours.
Why don't you bring that devil book here?
We have an exam in less than 2 hours.
You know, thanks for all your help tonight.
We have an exam in less than 2 hours.
I guess I owe you one.
I gotta go. You're on your own. Sorry.
Hey.
Oh, hey. So did you actually break it?
Yep.
You didn't make it in time for the exam after. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Prof says I can do a take-home. Have an extra week. Because somebody broke my foot. It's okay, though. I forgive you.
Do I look all right?
He doesn't care about what you look like, just what you eat.
But you told him about my food weirdness, right?
I didn't want him to snap judge you.
We should have done coffee. I'm amazing at drinking coffee.
He's a great cook. You'll be fine, I promise.
Come in, come in! Can't let the roux sit for too long.
Dad, you're being rude.
You won't complain when dinner's on the table.
Sorry, he's nuts when he's cooking.
Who's that?
My ex.
She and your dad look close.
Doesn't the table look amazing?
We are almost there.
Dad? Jade, my dad. Ted.
Are you hungry, Jade?
Yeah. Dad, conversation, remember?
Oh, we can get to know each other over dinner. You only truly know someone once you've shared a meal together. Am I right, Jade?
I've never really thought about it.
How many times have the two of you eaten together?
Lots. Well, coffee and drinks. It's not the same.
That's where you're wrong. Here we go. Honey, I've taken your advice and I'm starting with one of myself and Sarah's specialties.
Sorry. We'll chill out after he sits down.
Who's Sarah?
His friend in the picture.
Why would you ask him to make me something she liked?
I thought it would be a way around your food thing. You and Sarah have similar tastes.
Like what?
Me.
Doo-doo-doo. Jade, have you ever had aspec?
No.
A new experience. Excellent.
Dad, you should get a picture.
Yes. Let me grab my phone.
Similar tastes? I didn't think he'd go that far into their culinary adventures.
There is no way I could eat that.
Just a bite? For me? Oh, Dad kept me and Jade in it.
Mm-hmm.
Smile.
Beauty. You know I can't take a food pic without sending it to Sarah. But time to feast. Are you ready, Jade? Sarah says she wishes she were here.
Really? Did she say anything else?
How long have you two been broken up?
Like forever.
3 weeks is forever now?
It's been longer than that.
Ted, would you like me to do the honor?
Oh, please! I'd use the serving knife. Oh, let me show you!
But I want you to get to know me, Ted. Really get a sense of my tastes.
Gee.
Hold on there, Missy!
You feeling me, Ted? What about you, sweetie?
Jade, stop!
You liking what you see?
What are you doing?
Just getting to know you.
Okay, ready?
The certificate is amazing, and there really is a place for everybody. A lot of my friends who have never done theater before, and they joined the certificate and they found a love that they didn't know they had. So it's really just such a great opportunity to explore a different part of yourself.
The Performing Arts Certificate program is a program that students at Holy Heart can sign up for. And they sign up to commit to a number of courses, theater arts, drama, dance, a number of workshops, and they commit to doing a number of productions during their time in the program.
Before high school, I didn't have a lot of opportunities to do theater. It's been a way for me to find a place to use my creativity.
My favorite thing about the Performing Arts Certificate has probably been the shows I've done here and the workshops I've done here. It's been a really fun part of high school.
We actually did an exercise where we had emotionless masks, where we had to use our body language to tell the story of what was happening in a situation. You couldn't speak, and you also couldn't make any facial expressions. So it was all in your body language, and you really had to think about what this person would be feeling or how you would react in this situation.
I definitely love getting to inhabit someone who's not me, getting to explore a different world that's not the one that I am living. I had to play someone who is completely different from who I am, so it was a really cool experience, and I learned more about myself.
My favorite role that I've had in the Performing Arts Certificate is the White Witch in Narnia. It was such a big villain to play, and so it was really interesting to try to find how to get into that character.
One of the rehearsals that we did, there was snow coming down on stage, fake snow obviously, and there was the lamppost, and I was there with Lucy, my sister, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm actually here. Like there was a moment where I took myself out of the character and I was like kind of tearing up a little bit, and I was like, this is crazy. Like I never thought that I would be here doing this, and it's just, I really felt like I was entering Narnia, and it was just like my childhood dream had come true.
Seeing art being created, magic being created from both sides, on and off stage, it just changes how you perceive everything, really. For the past 2 years, I've been the program assistant, and this year I also took on the role as the production producer. So I've gotten many opportunities from the certificate, and it's really helped me develop all my leadership and collaboration skills.
I'm the current props master for Chicago, and I've done assistant stage management for Wizard of Oz. Backstage, you do get to learn a lot more about the inner workings of a show and really see how all the pieces come together.
I help with props, painting and constructing the set, as well as being a sound effects operator during the shows. The group of people that I've had the pleasure of working with is just the best part for me. It feels like a whole community where you're free to be yourself.
Ultimately, it's about seeing that growth from that really insecure, self-conscious kid who comes in, they're afraid to walk on the stage, to some do go on to become leaders in the program, and they get to work behind the scenes and on stage. They don't have to be a star to matter in this program or anything else that they do.
I came into this certificate with absolutely no knowledge about theater or anything like performing arts related. I just feel like I know so much more than I used to, not only about theater, but about like myself and the people around me and what I'm good at, like my strengths and my weaknesses and everything.
Everybody makes you feel so welcome. And until I joined in 11th grade, that's not something that I've really experienced in school. Like, you know, people are welcoming, of course, but not like this.
You never have to worry about if you mess up on stage, because you know everyone's gonna have your back on stage and off stage. And it just really builds relationships. You really do learn a lot from other people. Like I've learned so much from watching my friends grow.
Every time you're in a show, it's so, like we're all so together. We get this bond that you can't really get anywhere else. It's kind of like being in a sports team. You like grow with these people, and it's like a family basically.
If I didn't have this in my day-to-day school life, I think it'd be kind of boring. It really it makes my world so exciting. You know, doing what you love with the people you love most, that's what it's all about.
Throat singing is like communication between two women, and it's done by using our throat, our mouth, and our breath and voice. My name is Selpa Sorak, and I'm a throat singer. When I throat sing, I feel happy that I'm able to do something that other cultures are not able to do, and makes me feel comfortable in who I am. There's many different kind of songs in throat singing, so I find easiest one to learn is, it's called the love song. So, because where you use your voice and your throat and your breathing. So it goes So you can tell I use my voice and then breathing, and as I'm doing it, I keep like breathing in, and it continues. I think throat singing disappeared because residential schools and colonization. When the Inuit children went to residential schools, they were taught to be like a white man or a halunak.
They didn't speak their language and they didn't do anything cultural in the schools, so they weren't allowed to. They were supposed to speak English and they were allowed to throat sing or drum dance, or it was sort of forbidden.
The teachers, they made the Eskimo come out of who they are and tried to make the Inuit culture disappear.
Back in 2000, the youth division was established, which is where we brought back throat singing and drum dancing. So we had several workshops teaching youth how to throat sing and how to drum dance. So it just went from there, and we've had several over the years, and now we have a lot of young people within our region throat singing, and it's so nice to hear because now they're teaching their friends and they're teaching their family, and it's continues to rise.
You know that it's something that is being brought back, and I think now it's safe to say that it's staying.
It's cool. I think a lot of young people think it's cool to throat sing. Like having a special talent that not many people know how to do yet is really attracting to young people.
As soon as I learned how to throat sing, I was teaching my children, and they were 2 years old when they started doing it. But that's the main reason why I started throat singing, is because of my grandmother. I knew, like, I didn't know at first, like when I was younger, that she throat sang until when I found out. That's when I practiced 100 times more than what I originally did in the first place. And my dream was to throat sing in front of her, and that's exactly what me and my cousin April did.
Well, I couldn't speak to her, and she couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak English. But when we throat sang for her, it was something that we could all understand.
Same language.
I'd say my daughter would just throat sing anyway because she'll be around it. But if she wants to be taught, then I'll teach her. I'll teach her how to throat sing. I'll teach her many other things other than throat singing too.
Throat singing with her, my oldest friend, is the best thing. Like, I would not have chosen a better throat singing partner. When we sing, I feel like our voices become one voice. It tricks people's ears, like who's singing what, and it's just one voice. So having that connection with my best friend is the best.
I want people to know that Inuit culture is still there and we're still here. It's in our blood, it's in our throat, it's who we are, and it's important that we try to keep it and show the world who we are. Another traditional song for throat singing is called a geese. When you hear a geese from afar, you hear them quiet and slow, and then you hear them going over you, and then far again. So it sounds like this.
Hey, Kara.
Sorry. Long line at the coffee shop and only one coffee machine?
Oh! That's okay. I looked at our class notes while you were out. Figured I'd get something into my head, so it looks like I know what I'm talking about.
Go on, you're one of the smartest people I know. I wouldn't ask you to study with me if I didn't think so.
Oh, thanks. So, you got your fieldwork placement coming up?
Yeah. I leave for Toronto in 2 weeks.
Lucky. You must be excited. New York, Montreal, next door. Sounds like a vacation.
You think? I guess so if they were paying. Might be a bit lonely.
Well, we'll miss you for sure.
We will we?
No. We'll miss you? Really, Shirley? Is that the best you could do? You're not helping your cause here. Focus, Shirley. You're not here to flirt. Don't make her regret asking you to study. Get it together, girl. Oh my God, she just touched me. Eee! Did she do it on purpose? What do I do? Think, Shirley, think. What if I only have one shot with her and this is it? Okay, Shirley, okay. You got this. Just breathe, calm down, and act normal. If she starts to lean in...
Hey, Shirley. I think you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, Shirley. Would you go out with me for dinner later?
Maybe?
Maybe. Come on, Shirley. Haven't you been dreaming of this moment? You still like me, don't you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Can you say my name?
Kara.
Yes.
Kara.
Yes.
Kara! Are you okay? Sounded like you were moaning there for a second. We should take a break. I'll go get some more coffee.
There goes my shot.
The first part of the name refers that it's too small. And the second name is we're a river between two rivers. I think it's an incredible community with incredible people. The ability to have 100% employment, full-time and part-time. When families have money to buy good things for their kids, that helps. When I left there in the 60s, there was no electricity, there was no phone, no road, there was no work, there was nothing here at all. I think the change came about starting in the 70s. The federal government had forgotten all about us in terms of registration and having all that stuff that other First Nations across the country have been getting for years. In 1983, and I'm not back to 70s and 83, when I became the chief here, was only one way to fight, and go in and fight any way you can to get them to listen. And one of those was to put a padlock on the minister's door from the inside and get thrown in jail for a little while and told to go home and be good Indians. Of course, we didn't do that, but we decided that we were going to stay and fight, and we did, and we eventually got what we were looking for.
It's nearly 50 years. You know, this was 1973 to 1980s, late 1980s. We went through a hunger strike. We went to taking over government buildings. And even myself, I spent 2 summers at the UN in Geneva doing an international lobby to get what we've got here. I was a little kid that grew up. We didn't have school, we didn't have running water, we didn't have electricity, but we learned skills. I grew up hearing the Mi'kmaq language. Kids after me didn't have that opportunity. To me, that was a wonderful experience that kids today want to know from the elders. If the school didn't take the lead with the language, I seriously doubt that there would be very much of it heard within the community. But you know, it's difficult when they become teenagers because their attitude then is, well, why do I need to learn that? You know, because where am I going to use it? Unfortunately, they don't realize that it's a part of us. It's a part of who we are, and it's a strong part of your identity as you age.
I was brought up knowing, you know, from the elders, if you don't know your language, you know, you don't have your culture. So it's so important to, you know, as part of your culture, as part of your identity, to know your language. And that's why, you know, I felt that it was important for me to go back and to learn the language as much and as best as I could. Well, certainly through the Mi'kmaq language program here is where, you know, learning the language takes place. And also through the music program here at the school. I know that Miss Brenda incorporates a lot of the language learning through her songs. And so the children are not only learning the Mi'kmaq songs, but they're learning the language.
It's very important that they sing in the Mi'kmaq language because their forefathers and all of their history books, their Bible itself, everything is written in the Mi'kmaq language. So when they come to school, if they don't continue to learn that, it dies, it becomes extinct. And once the elders are gone, the language won't exist anymore. So you have to bring it to the children. As a music teacher trained in St. John's, when I came here first, I didn't know anything about the culture or the traditions. So of course I embarked on the elders and learned so much from them. When I brought it back into the classroom, new life erupted. There was a new identity. Everybody was a buzz about not only the drum sounds, but also the sacred text as well. It was like a new energy and a new life in the music program. And then it became popular outside the reserve, and people wanted to learn this culture that was always here, but they have never heard it through music. Totally different scenario from any other place in any isolated settlement, because we had somebody here last week from Manitoba, and they said they walked into the school and the first thing they heard was humming. I said, physical humming? No, there's something going on here that's very alive, very real, and very pleasant. So when I came in 1980, I heard that too. So I stayed. I'm here for 39 years because it's a very special environment where you learn all the qualities of life that you need to embrace in order to be successful.
It is the people. I love the people here, and it's the quietness and the culture part of it, right? You know, all the things that such a little community could put off, and I was just proud of them. Well, it was a couple of women that, you know, that they decided to, you know, we're going to start our own craft show, and, you know, it started off really small. It's all mostly women then, and then they all come together. So they brought somebody in to train us, and then we just went from there. We're hoping to get the young ones back into it again, you know, because it's going to be lost, and it's going to be lost forever if we don't do something about it. I offer up my service to anybody here if they want to know something or want me to help them at something, because I got no problem with that.
I love living in Conner River. It's a great place. There's so much freedom. Everybody knows everyone, and it's amazing to be connected as a community like that. One of the challenges that we still face as a community is racism. And even when I go away on sports tournaments, there's still racism. Like, mostly the fellow high schoolers are extremely racist, and it's still a problem even in this day and age. And everybody needs to help and fix that. Not just this community, not just the ones around us. All of us as a whole have to try and fix it.
I started dancing when I was like at a really, really young age. So I was like a little tiny tot, and they put me out on the powwow field, and I was like loving it. And it really connects you, because when you're out on the powwow ground, your spirit is just like extremely free. Whenever I go away, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. Like, can't wait to go somewhere. And when I leave, it's like, oh my God, like I really miss being home. Our community is so beautiful, like it's just amazing. The people here are really great, and I really like how the community really comes together as one. It's just good.